April 2nd here at the front porch of the Goodwin Cafe with Patrick Evan and his special guest at this time, Mr. Burt Mingy. Tell me, Burt, a bit about your experiences working with Patrick. How did you get to meet him and such and such?
Oh, I've met Pat.
Focus.
I met Pat a while back. Back during, back when I think it was before Aerial Tribe even, or maybe it was right at the beginning of Aerial Tribe. But I looked so different then than
that's what you tell me.
That we actually, I guess, met.
We met another person.
We met officially. What? I guess that night.
In my mind,
up there at Walker's.
Yeah, in my mind,
at Oscar's birthday party.
Absolutely.
When Oscar was turning 30.
And you told me that's the first time I heard you sing, but in my mind...
That was the first time you had heard me sing.
That's crazy. In my mind, the first time I heard you was at Square One.
No, I wasn't singing in public.
No, you did. You sat in with me when I was playing there up on Tuesday nights with the, not with Aerial Tribe. This is when Coalition was happening, so it's when the comedians were there, and you came and sat in. In my mind, you did Simple Man. And I was sitting off to the side going like,
it was
what?
Walker's.
It was Walker's, same song, but different venue.
It was at Walker's, yes.
I was like, wow.
And there was a bunch of people sitting in, Jessica Pounds, and, Oscar was playing.
Yeah, I remember that night completely.
And Oscar handed me his guitar and wanted me to do a tune, and I had just started singing, because I had just been singing with Mark. Mark and I had our duo, Mark Gibson and I had our duo thing going. And we'd been doing that for a couple months, so I'd finally confident enough to sing in front of people, so, I don't know, I just picked that, I guess. Anna may have suggested that song.
No, I told him you were going to get me because I'm always talking to you about you as a singer. When I know that you are a guitar player, a gifted guitar player. But I was that's what I was saying earlier in the interview. I said, if he ever hears this or reads this, he going to get me because I'm always talking about, he's the singer.
You know what?
But you're both.
Oscar and I were just talking about that on the way over here. It's like, talking about, the way you hear different instruments and stuff. But I was a singer when I was a little kid. That's, I remember
you told me that.
I used to sing in church, and then I did, musicals and stuff and plays and singing in school and singing these plays and stuff. And so when I started playing guitar, I didn't know that shred guitar and fast guitar was what you're supposed to do. I was just trying to play the same sort of things that vocalists would play. Same thing that vocalists would sing. That's how I started playing guitar,
And so who were you who were some of the vocalists you were paying attention to that you were trying to emulate on guitar?
Or what? At first, I wasn't emulating vocalists. I was emulating guitar players. But when I sit down and just mess around with improvising and trying to come up with my own stuff, it's this stuff I hear in my head, which is.
Oh, I thought you were saying that you were using a guitar to imitate vocals that you had.
I have since gone and done that directly.
Gotcha.
Like with certain vocalists that I B.B. King, I used to pick.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
When I first realized that it was harder to play B.B. King's what he was singing than what he was playing on guitar, I was just like, well, shit, I'm just going to learn I'm just going to learn all the stuff he sings.
Okay.
On the guitar.
Gotcha. That's interesting.
But then Aretha Franklin is she's the lady to steal great blues guitar licks from.
Her vocals are
great, good, awesome blues guitar
riff roll, right? That's awesome, and that's just how bad she is.
And you hear that in Derek Trucks. To me, I think Derek Trucks sits around and listens to old female R&B singers, and that's to me where his sound comes from.
Well, he's a Duval guy,
I know.
Right.
And the Duval sound is very much a hybrid, a synthesis, a fusion, if you will, of diverse, disparate sounds.
Yeah,
all the musicians listen to everything. All the music fans listen to everything. Everybody knows everybody.
You look at Leonard Skinner.
Known
as this Southern rock kind of almost seems like to audiences probably racially divided, but them as a band, they can't be listening to nobody else. The guitar players, at least, they got to be listening to blues guitar players.
Oh sure.
They're listening to a bunch of they're listening. So you know what I mean?
Allman Brothers and
Allman Brothers. The same. Well, Dwayne is his hero is Elmore James. So it's strange that you have these.
Well, absolutely.
Racially divided areas,
audiences,
but that everybody's been listening to everything.
It's almost like a racially divided audience listening to this band, thinking this is their music, when the band is we're taking this from these people, and
Yeah, exactly.
And that's an interesting point that about Patrick's artistry is there are a few guys in town that can speak more authoritatively on this tradition of guitar players, great guitar players in this city, especially in the past decade. Because they've all played with it. I mean, Jeremy Kerala, Eric Heron, Bert Mingy.
Oh my God.
you played with Barry Green.
I have
Green.
done
Oh,
a gig with
Barry Green.
You played
Wow.
with James Hogan.
James Hogan, I've done a gig with.
Have you done? Let's see. Have you done one with Gary Starling yet?
If I did, I don't remember.
Okay,
because it's been, over the
you've
years.
almost got all of the college professors in town, and then pretty much
Oh,
all their,
Jesse Cruz.
and then all their
Jesse
students.
Cruz.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
You
How do you spell that?
Taylor Roberts.
Cruce.
All right.
You played gigs
from
with Paul
Aerial
Miller before,
Tribe.
right?
Who's the name, brother?
Paul.
I haven't. I've
Oh,
called
you
him.
played on the porch.
Yeah, we have done work on the porch here at Goodman Cafe
You've
for
worked
sure.
with them. They're all of Barry and James's students, and them. You know what I mean?
Have you ever worked with Matt Butler?
I know Matt, but I haven't.
Hmm.
But we know each other.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
it's
guess
just
Matt
been
doesn't play
great.
as much as he used to back when I was at UNF.
Yeah.
He always had very interesting bands put together.
Absolutely.
Very well rehearsed, awesome.
His groups were my favorite jazz groups. They're the band that he had with. It was like Matt Butler, Joe Iorio, Travis Morton, and Tim Stombaugh.
Is that the Juice and Java days?
Yeah. Like they
Yeah.
fucking
See them
Brother
killed
Schultz
it.
was around
I got
during
to see
all
them
that.
once at Juice and Java when I was in high school.
Which Juice and Java now? Is it
The one
The one down,
right
on
by
South- near
right by
Henry.
Green Ridge.
Yeah, by your mom and them.
What do they call that area of town?
Miramar.
Miramar.
Yeah.
Miramar. Yeah, then they changed it. That's when the Moto Lounge and Juice and Java became the same place.
Moto Java.
Moto Java.
They should call it the area that should still have Juice and Java there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well,
I
the
love
old
that
people in
place.
that neighborhood did not appreciate the late night element.
Yeah.
The late night sessions behind Juice and Java.
Well.
Oh yeah, because there's houses and people and things going on right there.
Yeah.
I can understand that.
Hey, I mean, if you let it go on, it raises the property value.
Did you ever play with Doug?
Real
Marble?
conservatives take the fucking money.
Did you ever play with
That's
Doug
what I
Marble?
say.
Right.
Real conservatives
Yeah,
are definitely
it's a-
all about
yeah,
money.
no, that's
Save the
right.
money everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah, he's in New York now.
Doug Womble's a guitar player.
Yeah, I have at Partners. I
Doug-
work with Doug. Yes.
Doug
He
McCombs?
plays with Doug.
No,
You remember Doug
Womble.
Womble? He used to play up there at Juice and Java.
I've seen him a couple times,
Shit.
but I never met him.
Branford Marsalis is on his first album.
Yeah,
Wow.
yes, I have
You know what I
worked
mean?
with him. I know
Okay,
exactly
he's
what
worked
you're talking
there.
about.
Yeah, you've worked with basically all the guitar players.
And drummers and just
And
about
the
everybody
Yeah,
else.
drummers
oh.
for damn sure.
Yeah.
All of them.
Bass
in-
player,
in-
every damn bass player in the world wants to be on Patrick's project.
I know, right?
Well, that's the
But
thing about Duval. Like we make professional musicians. We make guys that can go anywhere and do
Anywhere.
anything for anybody.
But they
I
have
agree.
to go.
Yeah.
But you gotta
Yeah.
go.
Whether
That's the
it's
thing,
whether
you
it's a
got to
cruise
go.
ship or a bar mitzvah.
Absolutely.
Or
'cause we
Jabba
done
the
them
Hutt's
all,
palace.
This is the
Anything.
dojo.
No, you can
At
go.
some point-
Jared's on tour right now with Donovan Frankenreiter.
Really?
Yeah.
Jared May.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
Hell yeah.
but you know what? And you know some stuff is less. Less is more. I was telling OB because OB is Oscar Barnett, songwriter, singer. He plays a little guitar. We've done gigs together. And
Live demo.
Exactly, but we would go and do live demos,
And that's it.
and they would hire us every time. We would do it.
Every
We
time.
say, look, we just gonna come play for free and for tips. So they would get us drunk and then tip us and feed us some time, and then they wind up hiring us for the next time, right?
Yeah.
But Oscar, there are some people who have been to school and who understand and know guitar, and I mean, love that. Oscar is just playing. He don't know all the time what key, like me as a singer, as you as a guitar player and stuff, right? But
I just hear it.
when he plays something, it's so basic that I love it. That when I've heard other more more
Go ahead,
notable,
more talented.
because they worked on it, more.
Try to interpret what he was
Yeah,
doing.
sometimes I didn't like it as much.
I know what you mean.
I told you that before. I said I like the way you playing that better.
Well, that's the.
You
He
know
and
what
I
I'm
sat down for a
saying?
while trying,
Yep.
And I recorded a bunch of this stuff that I just had Oscar play it all into a little tape, one of those little tiny cheap tape recorders.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm sitting there, wanting to come up with other parts and stuff to go with it, and it's just like that part by itself. It's just like
Yeah, man.
I don't want to change that chord. even though it could be changed all these different ways, I don't really want to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I like it that way.
It sounds great, just the way it is.
Yeah, it's that's if I was decent at anything, it was just coming up with groovy little licks and sticking them there. I was just messing around today with a Guitar Center with a bass, man. I think I'll pick up some bass again when I get back. It'll be my next project. Will be OB on bass, playing backups for somebody.
But how did we get off on this? How did we first meet?
Yeah,
I met
so
Patrick.
No, but that was my
fan.
thing.
We
So
had
you
met
say it was Walker's that
We had met
Oscar's birthday
we had
party.
met as acquaintances quite a few times because I would come out to see Aerial Tribe, or you and I, we'd be billed on the same.
With you and another band?
Yeah, on the same bill with like that McSlight Fest. You remember playing that?
Yeah, it was out west somewhere.
It was out in Palaca.
Y'all played,
Oh yeah, you
y'all-
were just talking about
y'all
that.
played that, Mr. Bean, the Box Rockers, and I was playing with John Miller and Bay Street back then. And so I mean, and then El Toro Loco was out there. It was like
What a good crew. It's too bad it wasn't a lot of people, but it was a good crew of
the
musicians.
bands got to watch each other,
And that was fun.
and that was about it.
And we had a great time.
Yeah, man.
But really, the first time we met and talked and started, talking about working together was up at Walker's on your birthday.
Mm-hmm.
We have some Twitter questions.
Uh-oh.
At non-existent Twitter follower number 1 asks, "What is Bert's favorite song to perform with Patrick Evan?"
It changes. What is it lately?
Because my favorite thing was my first favorite thing was the Men from Down Under cover.
Huh?
My first favorite thing of you guys was the Men from Down Under cover. I was talking on previous session about how the clip of you guys like on the porch of the Goodwin Cafe playing that, like that was the thing that really wet the whistle, in the digital world for the explosion of soul power that's about to like spread like Fukushima fallout across the universe now.
Right on.
And
Come on.
hey,
Thank you, God.
yes,
I can't wait for that album, man.
radiated to the nth degree, bounced off stained glass.
That song took me a while to get comfortable with. Remember how early on we were playing that one, and I'd start it too slow or I'd start it too fast, and it took me a while to get comfortable with that tune and as a tune that we were playing, as a duo.
No, it's
But
perfect.
anymore. I mean, it's one of those tunes now that it's old hat. It just feels like that's an easy one to fall right into.
Oh, I totally ripped you off the other night at my gig in Fernandina.
And you're more than welcome,
I
because I've been ripping you out.
I ripped off pumped up kicks. Now your hair's on fire, must have lost your wit. The guy on the record don't sing it nothing like that. That's how Bert sings it, right? Love that part. I totally swiped you at this gig the other day, right?
Yeah.
Made it my own. I made you my own.
We'd have to trace a lot backwards to see who was the first to swipe the lick from who.
That's hilarious.
Because I flat out. I mean, you know for a fact because I look over at you sometimes when I'm stealing exactly the way you'd sing something.
That is hilarious.
And I can see you know that I'm.
We inspire each other. I guess that's what this banter is about.
Absolutely,
You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
We really do. It's awesome.
But what?
And stealing ain't a bad thing with music, because we can always reproduce it. It ain't like you're taking something somebody ain't.
It's not a bad thing when it comes to music.
There's quotes that.
Yeah, I want to steal a couple of his songs.
You can have all of them.
Oh, and it's the same way with him and.
I want to do some Oscar Bonnet too. Didn't I just say that the other night? I said that to Eric Herein just the other night. I said we should start doing Seasons Change when we're out sometime.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I love
do
that
it.
song.
I would do.
Make it famous, King. Give me some royalties.
Time I ask myself.
Oh yeah, man.
I've always liked
Every
that.
time I ask myself,
What do I do?
Yeah.
love it.
Must have been out of my mind. And then Crippy Bud.
Oh yes,
Mhm.
absolutely.
That's
still-
be in the house.
I could take
I
some
like his
West.
version of My Funny Valentine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets requests for that.
I do.
Absolutely.
Still to this day.
Because most people do it at such a just
Same old way.
yeah, like funeral tempo.
Yeah.
Right.
And they
And sad.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's
he
funny
makes
as
it happy. It's almost like bossa nova like.
the chords that I used,
Are definitely not the original chords.
not the original
No.
chords. It's not in the. But vocally, it still sticks to all the original same keys.
Right.
And what was interesting about that is because I was writing a completely different song with those exact same chord progression. And then I was just figured out one day, I was like just sitting around in my living room, and I was like, oh, wow, My Funny Valentine goes to that exact, those notes will work. And so I just started performing it live, and the audience gave me a good response, so we put it on the album.
Yeah, it's a good tune, dude.
It's
And it was public domain.
Yeah, public domain. That always helps. I don't have to pay royalties.
Hell yeah.
What does that mean? Like if a song's been recorded so long ago
It's
that
old enough, anybody can do it now.
Anymore? I don't know.
And now they own them, like, now they sign contracts into the next universe.
I was just doing research. I was just doing research into Happy Birthday and who wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not exactly sure who wrote Happy Birthday. There's they think the melody was written just by somebody else, but I think it's somebody affiliated with Disney owns
Really?
Happy Birthday, and we technically have to pay royalties to do Happy Birthday.
How about Mary Had a Little Lamb? Have you ever seen a
Can't
writer
possibly
associated
be.
with that song? I never have.
I would think no way.
It was the first
But I
recorded
would-
song.
What's that?
Mary Had a Little Lamb?
Yeah, because Thomas Edison sang a bit of Mary Had a Little Lamb when he was
into his,
doing
into his phonograph.
Phonograph.
Really?
Mhm.
So that's the official first song of the record industry, huh?
I think so. Yeah.
Probably gonna be the last one too.
Well, eventually, because people are going to start doing it themselves, like what's happening.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, and Bert and I, and a group of us have been talking about this concepts about record companies, how when they, like say you signed, they signed Bert May, they signed Oscar Barnett, right? I'm the company, I'm going to put it in that way. And so I sign away all y'all rights because I already given you some money, I done told you I'm going to make you famous, I've already dropped you some money. And y'all like, sure. Then when you're in the business a few years, you realize what signing your rights away mean. So you come back to me and say, listen, I want at least some of the rights to my songs. And I say, and this is what a record company does. They tell you, I know I didn't write those songs. I know those songs are part of your life before you even met me. But you signed them over to me. So even though I know I didn't do anything that had anything to do with the creative part, because you had these songs before you got to me.
Yes.
I'm still, I can see them keeping something.
It's intellectual
Because they
property.
do put money out and help you to do things. But they how can you look at somebody and tell them, I know this is your work, Bert. I know this is your work, Oscar, but you didn't know that when you signed it over to me, so now it's mine. How can you sleep at night?
Or
In the pro wrestling business, certain people have lost through divorces and stuff, have lost the right
to their name.
to use their own name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
Prince did for a little while, too.
Yeah, when guys come into WWF, usually they change their name just a little bit so they can retain intellectual
Wow.
property rights to all the merchandise.
You know what's so
I didn't
strange?
know that.
Yeah.
If you were to think about, I really have no idea how this works in terms of like science and all, but could Einstein have signed away the rights to E equals MC squared? Could some company have just been like, no, that ain't you don't get to have the rights to that idea anymore? 'Cause
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can see if a record company can do it, they do, of course.
Yeah, it's contract law, man.
He could have
See,
patented that process with multiple people
Like,
and then been frozen out of it.
Oppenheimer invents the bomb. They're using his, or
Yeah.
a bunch of people do, but they're using his ideas that that allow that. Well, I mean, I understand him not getting any money for the construction of the bomb, but
And
still,
then they took his security clearance and froze him out of the whole process.
Einstein or
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer. He was upset at the end of the whole thing, right? He was depressed and
Oh yeah. Yeah, it wasn't what he wanted it
right.
to be.
That whole
It was like a
I am
record
become
company.
I am
Mm.
become death
Yes.
thing at the end. He's like, that doesn't sound like he was too happy with what he had done.
No.
But you look at somebody like Einstein, they could have taken. I guess even if he had signed the rights away, could they have taken the idea from the person? You know what I mean? Its association with that person, the way that a record company can do that with.
I would think they can. Because what happens is they give you money. That's the enticement. There's always some money first.
hmm
If you are living like I'm living right now and somebody comes and gives you $30,000, you're like, whoa. Like, I'm not only caught up, I'm way ahead. Okay, that's the enticement. But they all the time know that they're trying to own your
Yeah.
word.
But it ain't
Absolutely.
like they do with musicians. What it seems that they do with scientists, where once that musician, let's say they buy the rights or whatever, you might still end up on a fucking street corner
Yes.
begging for money. That scientist, at the very least, somebody's going to set him up. It seems like is what they do with these people.
Maybe.
Would
Like-
Tesla die broke though?
He died, but
He died broke.
See, so
I
they
think
didn't set him
Westinghouse
up
was
there.
paying for his apartment. You know what I mean? At the
Mhm.
very least,
Yeah.
he had a roof over his head, paid for by the people who had benefited
Mhm.
from all of his ideas.
It's a ruthless business. Like
And they were living in mansions.
it's like the guy who invented crack doesn't get royalties. Probably. He probably died poor. Whoever that guy was.
Wow.
Unless he was a professor, he could have been a professor at a chemistry professor at
Yeah.
a university.
You are so
Like
right.
the
You are so
LSD
right. That
people.
is a reality. That
You know?
really could have happened.
And he could have just died like a normal guy. He just happened to stumble upon something that
Yeah.
that gets you high.
Mhm.
Like a lot
It's
of
like a Reese's cup, but with drugs. Oh. All right.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love Reese.
Me too.
I love Reese's. I hate crack.
Peanut butter and
Yeah.
chocolate is one of the greatest combinations.
No, that is a good one. Whoever
Mhm.
came up with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know.
that person should be known.
Yeah. White people made chocolate. Black people made peanut butter.
Yep.
It's like
right.
it's
and
racial
all
harmony.
great together, right?
Yeah.
It goes with jazz.
It's
Hey,
the
you know what I
Stax
would like to
records of
consider
candy.
While we're all here, this is coming into my mind. Gigs. The gig etiquette between the venue and us.
Mm.
Sometimes lack thereof.
Is there any?
Yeah, sometimes lack thereof.
Yeah,
Etiquette.
sometimes the lack thereof will be, you just said it.
Yeah.
I feel like this is, what are you going to say, B. Diddy?
We don't ever. I don't know. I don't really think we are looked upon by the majority of the business community as people that are working.
I agree.
I think they think we play
I
for a
agree.
living,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think they have a problem saying, "Oh, y'all just stay out. Y'all don't need to play tonight."
Yeah, just like that.
You know,
Yeah.
And you can get a gig canceled while you're on your way to the gig.
we have.
Yeah.
And we have.
We've been 5 minutes from the gig.
Absolutely. And they call and say, oh, we decided we ain't
Ain't enough
going to
people
have.
tonight. There's ain't
Yeah.
enough reservations on the books.
I think they have love for the artistry, but not enough respect for the artist.
I
Mm.
think it's
You know what I'm saying? When
Yes.
somebody calls and cancels us in a way, they're not considering this portion of you hiring us was going to be my rent, my lights. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we're not going to have you tonight.
I think it's more. I think there's a general kind of thing in our culture where, like, I think we've talked about this before, where all these women that watch Oprah, that probably think, oh, I would love to have Oprah's life. I'd love to be Oprah.
Mhm.
No, hell, you wouldn't.
No, it's way more
Oprah
than
is
they
working
think.
her fucking ass
Oh,
off. From
are
the
you
moment she
kidding?
wakes up, she is dealing with this. She's dealing with
Okay.
that. She ain't dealing with. Now, granted, she probably loves every moment of it.
Sure.
I hope so.
To get to where she's gotten, she has to.
Yeah.
But if you're the kind of person that just wants to sit in front of a television all damn day, well then no, hell no, you don't want to be like Oprah.
Yeah, you already not like Oprah because
Yeah.
she ain't sitting in front of the daggone
You just-
TV.
You just like to watch Oprah.
Yeah.
That you don't take into consideration.
You might
all
want
of the
Oprah's
work.
money, but you
Yeah.
don't want
They
Oprah's
go-
life.
Right.
You don't want to produce Oprah's show.
Right. That's a
You don't
lot of
understand.
expectations.
If you think it's hard being Oprah, imagine being one of her assistants.
But
Mhm.
it's
That's another hard
people,
job.
people seeing the glamour,
Mm-hmm.
and they only see this tiny little. They're looking at a tiny frame in a movie. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at one frame.
Absolutely.
All the other frames, you get to see all the fucking work.
I
Right.
find, honestly, I found that whenever I was doing nothing but originals, that venue owners and things would treat me better than if I were to come in and be a cover band. Because honestly, if they hired
that's
me,
the way it should be.
if they hired
I
me,
would love it to be that way.
Absolutely.
if they
That's what
hired
I wanna
me
work on.
when I did no covers, I still, even at the end there, even with Artisan, we would do 60% originals.
It's kind of
That's the way it should be.
And but once we start, you get on these gigs where it's just you're playing cover after cover after cover, then then they consider it, oh well, you're one of 30 bands that can play those exact same
right.
damn
You're
tunes.
easily
for me.
replaceable.
Yeah, but
But I wonder.
if you're there because you're you and they're hiring you to play your music, then they tend to keep the gigs. They don't tend to shut you down or.
I wonder about audiences anymore, though, and the effect of this sort of like American Idol kind of thing, and what it's had on our jobs. Like, you know, I wonder anymore. When I was in high school, I could go out and see an original band any night of the week. Could be a weeknight. My $5 cover at the Imperial or whatever. You could go out and see a band playing original music. It may not be great, but it's something you hadn't heard before. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now it's like, I wonder, do audiences even want to hear that? You know.
Hear what, Brother Bird?
I was saying
cover original.
I was saying, when I was in high school, I could go out and hear an original band if I wanted to, almost any night of the week. You know, if I come downtown, you know.
Yeah.
And it may not the songs may not certainly weren't always the greatest songs ever, but at least it was something different.
Sure.
And now with this whole like American Idol culture, you got all these different shows that are like that. Do audiences generally want to go out and hear something different anymore?
Well,
It
it's a
depends
matter.
on the venue, I think.
Yeah, it depends on the venue and what they're projecting. It depends on the audience members themselves. Some people are just looking for music to set a mood. Like they just want to go and have their meal, and they want something inoffensive just in the background.
They're there to hit on girls.
Yeah.
They're not there to listen to the band. Whatever, you know.
Yeah, they're going there or they're going there because their girlfriend wants to go, or because like their friend's going out there or whatever. I think the smart music fan looks at, especially if you're paying a cover to a place, or
Yeah.
there are a lot. Like when I go out to a bar or something to hear a band, I'm going to hear the band. I'm not going to like pay $8 for a drink. You know,
Right,
I'm going there. Yeah, I'm not necessarily the typical music fan, but I think in Duval is the sort of thing where we just want to hear the musician play what they want to play.
Yeah.
Whether that's their originals, whether that's covers, whether it's whatever, we want to hear them comfortable.
As long as they can put their own energy behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Starlight Jam sessions, just
absolutely.
Some of my favorites.
man, that was like the best.
Starlight.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
awesome.
Wednesday nights.
Put Wednesday nights, just put whatever great musicians on the stage together, and then they'd come up with something that goes on until they had to turn the lights on and kick everybody out.
And there have been other things similar to that in different areas of town throughout the years, but I'm thinking back to high school now, you know.
Mhm.
I mean, there's all kinds of good stuff. My favorite things have been the Soulhead Sundays with Aerial Tribe at the Voodoo, and the Wednesday situations. I always loved Wednesdays at the Starlight. I loved it when Crystal and Doug Riefler were there.
Me too.
And then I loved
So
it when
did
Patrick
I.
came in there too. Because on those Wednesdays you go to see Patrick, it wasn't just that the music was good, but the scene was interesting. Like it was almost like going to a Masonic Lodge meeting.
Yeah,
There'd be
the secrets.
There'd be cats you would only see on that Wednesday night. That'd be the night to go and catch up with cats
It was
and
the only night
safety meetings.
Yeah, Aerial Tribe night at Starlight was the only night I was there.
Wow. Except we were calling it the Starlight House Band.
Yeah.
Starlight House Band.
Yeah, like coalition,
Different members
like
every
coalition,
single week.
like Patrick Evan and the Brethren. Right?
Yeah.
You were still Aerial Tribe.
Man,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cookie Bush.
The Marquis said.
That's that would be like if when he was Aerial Tribe, the people would be still calling him Cookie Bush, you know?
Yeah, and that's what would happen.
But
I would tell them it was the Brethren, Patrick
Brownie
Evan and the
Beard.
Brethren, and I would
And-
still
and-
get there,
and
and
you
it would
get
be
there in the
Aerial
Tribe on the
Tribe.
marquee.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But that was because Aerial Tribe
had power, man.
Aerial
the name.
Tribe.
The name had drawing. Yeah, you had
Yes.
drawing power from the name.
Well,
you
'cause-
guys had one folio
Yeah.
best band.
Oh yeah.
So
A few times.
And the music scene in this town, like
What?
you go to shows, so many of the people in the audience are musicians themselves. You know, so many of the audience members in this town are musicians themselves.
That's how.
And it says a lot about a band when you can get other musicians to come out.
You can
Because
say
musicians
that
are the
again.
most cynical people
You can say that
there
again.
are. When you've got musicians coming out spending their own money on drinks to see
No,
Someone
I
else
agree.
perform.
even if we're standing there, especially if we're standing there just like this,
Yeah.
it's probably because we
Which
like you.
happens, right?
It's probably
Yeah.
because we really, really like you.
Yeah.
If we're standing there just like this,
Watching what you do, man.
it's definitely. We're not trying to give you bad vibes. It's because we're really trying. We're stealing your shit.
Those Wednesday
hilarious.
nights out there, it was like, it kind of reminded me of like Sunday nights at the Casbah. It was almost like going to school. Like, music students, I'm surprised music students weren't getting like college credit for going to like see Patrick play, because they would come out there and you'd see him,
You know what? A visiting artist came to UNF while I was there, one night, and they gave their little lecture during normal school time, and then they were talking about the gig that night, and there were certain people I can't remember what exactly was discussed, but the guy was trying to emphasize how important it is to go out and see live music.
Mm-hmm.
It was a duo. It was a bass player and guitar and bass. And they had come and they'd done a master class, and he was like, somebody was made some sort of in the audience made some sort of an excuse for not coming to the gig that night.
Yeah.
And he was like, look, the only excuse for you not to come to this gig this night is if you got a gig yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He's like going out and listening to great music is just as important, if not more important, for some of y'all.
Yeah.
Depending on the level that you're at.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Than going out and doing your gig.
No, but that's what you guys gave me a rep in Jacksonville, even though you and I have been working together for 2 years. But what I mean by that is all the guys that were sitting in first chair in different, whether it was horn or bass or guitar or whatever, they would, and I would be playing with these guys, and so then the cats from UNF would be taking this teacher's advice and coming out. They would really be coming to see the guys that they had gone to school with, and then then my presence was there.
I first started coming out because I was, Jesse and I entered UNF at the same time.
Right.
We were both in the same guitar ensembles in all the same classes.
Jesse who?
Jesse Cruz.
From Ariel.
And I came out and saw y'all a couple times before Jesse finally, quit the program. But that's why he ended up having. That is why he quit the program. It was what he wanted to devote all his time to aerial track.
Yeah, I remember when he did that.
I remember too, because I remember when he, it was in, after I think Improv 1 or 2. Where we were all like, "You're not coming back? What the hell for?"
He was like, "I'm a musician. I ain't gonna do this."
Yeah, he was just like, priorities. It's like I'm in this band. We're working, we're working on all kinds of stuff. I got to do that.
Here's a question for you. What's the main difference between you as a musician now versus you as a musician before you met Patrick?
Ooh.
If at all.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to think.
Besides pure swagger.
Mine was a huge difference. I mean, before I met Patrick, I never had I had like 2 gigs before I ever met Patrick that I actually played out live, and after I met Patrick and got down with the crew and just kind of accepted into the fold of soul players and all this kind of stuff in town, that's when people started sharing their stages with me and getting me up on stage, So I mean,
they be playing at his gigs.
Basically, before I met Patrick, I didn't have nobody.
So his was a decisive influence.
Oh, major. Yeah.
He's like the Rumsfeld to your Cheney.
No, he's more than that. Like, he was I mean, if honestly I was
he's like the Bush to your
If
Bush.
I hadn't have played guitar and just sang with Patrick on his porch, I don't think I would have ever gotten into being a musician live like I did.
Wow.
He was singing for me. I was living right next door, and I had known him from coming to the gigs, but I didn't know he was a musician. I would see him downtown. And then one night when I was living next door from here, he was playing his original stuff on the porch, and he must have played me 4 songs that night, and I liked every single one of them. I was like, man, I didn't know you did music. I didn't know you were a singer, songwriter. I mean, great songs, like songs that if he don't do someday, I won't do.
Should have got two tall boys.
See, now what I realized about you is that if you were a live musician, you would be a drummer. And the reason I say that is because when I started seeing you when you were running for city council, your timing, the way you were coming back, every single time they would ask the panel a question and each person would have to answer the same question.
Yeah.
Brother Shelton, it was just brilliant. Like it was probably a little so far left from people that really even the people on the panel with you, it was like you could see their anticipation to wait to see what you were getting ready to say. Even the people up there that were on the panel with you, the timing thing, like they say timing is everything. Your timing, you never had to put your finger up against your temple. Every time they asked you a question, you was like, well, see, if it was me, I'd be doing this. So that's why I say if you were a live musician, you'd be a drummer because you got the timing thing down and improv.
You're right. I mean, drums are my favorite instrument.
Really? See, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, I try to study up on everything. Like I'm a fan of all music, but since I don't read music and such like that, drums are the only thing that's really accessible to me, and that's what. Especially as a jazz fan, I became a jazz fan.
Accessible.
True.
Rhythm is the most. I mean, Scott Henderson is a guitar player and a teacher too. In both respects, I'm thinking of an instructional video of his. In particular, where he takes a tune that everybody knows. He goes, "I'm gonna play a tune everybody knows, but I'm not gonna play any of the notes."
Mm-hmm.
Plays just the rhythm, but he plays all the wrong notes. And he goes, "What's that tune?" He goes, "You know that tune." He goes, "I'm gonna make it a little easier for you. Now I'm gonna make the contour of the melody close, where when the melody goes up, I'm gonna go up. I may not go up. I'm probably not gonna go up the same amount that they normally do. So the contour of the melody will be basically the same shape,
Mm-hmm.
but the rhythm will be spot on. He plays it, and then you know exactly what he's playing.
Ah,
So
yes.
all he's giving you is the contour and the rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
None of the notes. All the notes are wrong, and it's raindrops keep falling on my head. And you can tell. If you couldn't tell the first time, if you were a drummer, you'd have known the first time. By the second time, you don't matter if you play an instrument or not, you know.
Yeah.
But back to what you asked earlier
Mm-hmm.
about influence.
Yeah.
The first thing that came to my mind was that, I had never played where I was the only person holding an instrument on stage. So that was the first thing that came to my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Was that it's forced me to get a lot of solo, just far more solo abilities. And when I say solo, I'm not talking about guitar soloing, just the ability to play my guitar and try to make it, make as much sound as possible.
Autonomy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
On the guitar. That was the first thing that came to my mind, but even more so, and this is kind of an extension of that, the fact that it's just two of us.
Mm-hmm.
And some nights, I went to jazz school to learn about improvisation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you go to school and they're telling you this scale goes with this chord, and that chord, this song has got these chords in it, and so they've almost just taken the improvisation out of it by saying these are the chords and these are the scales, and that's what you get to choose from.
Wow.
They've sort of limited you.
Yeah.
And if I start working with Patrick and I'm playing something and he goes, "Hold on, just keep playing that," and Patrick sings some totally different song, that is way more. That is way more improvised.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of the point where we had a gig just here recently where there was nobody there.
And it was so much fun.
And it was fun because it was like, you know what, we're not going to do any of these songs the same way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was, and I think really what improvisation means.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's probably the thing that I've learned the most since we've been working together.
And me too.
Really how or maybe it's just the beginnings of what real improvisation means. Because when I watch Herbie Hancock improvise, I'm like, that is fucking improvisation right there. He is going where wherever it feels, the moment takes him. But I've learned a lot more of that working with him than I ever did with a bunch of teachers telling me this is what improv is about.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you improvise.
And now he's doing it. He's doing stuff. He'll be making up some song. I'm like, okay, right on. I hear it. It's like he'll be playing something, and I'm thinking he's going to say something, and then he starts making up another song. That is so much fun.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I would tell you what.
It's having fun with the music in the same way that I think that the early cats that were
Absolutely.
inventing bebop and what we treasure in jazz nowadays, they were doing that on popular songs.
Yeah.
I agree with
Because
that.
this is the turn of the century.
Yeah. They were doing that with popular songs, and now you got these Dirty Loops, this group Dirty Loops, and other people that are doing.
Right.
That's improvisation.
Absolutely.
That's what those guys were trying to tell us. Not this whole this chord goes with this scale and this.
And I would like to say something which Shaka Khan taught me personally about improvisation, and I've told both these brothers this story, and probably you before too. But when she came to Jacksonville, and I was able to take her around, we took her to the Voodoo Chat. Jasmine was playing that night, right? And she was so enjoying it, right? And I said to her, when they go on break, I said, let's go down and sit in and do some of your stuff. And she said, and I'm quoting her, right? She said, now why the fuck would I want to go sit in and do my shit, right? Mm-hmm. But the thing that she taught me when she said that was, when you are going to sit in, this is not a time for you to be practiced. Yeah. It means what's happening here tonight. Let me see if I can fit myself into this. That's what the musicians from UNF taught me, because I wasn't doing none of this in New York. Like if I sat at an open mic, it was the song they were playing. I wasn't like, let me hear this over there.
What I'm thinking is they were learning that on the gig with you.
Who?
Those musicians. They were learning.
Well, no, it's just an open mic. But the bands in New York can play anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just say, do a little dance, make a little love. They'd be like, ready? You know, they just know how to play everything. I noticed that. Even a little more so than down here, probably just because of where they are and stuff. But yeah, it would just be like an open mic. And so, but that, I'm serious, that she actually taught me what a sit-in was. I had been doing it, but she taught me theoretically what it was. It's not a chance for you to go and okay, like people telling me they want to come sit in with the band sometimes, and they say, well, when do you guys practice? I said, sweetheart, we don't. And if you want to come sit in, you're going to either follow what's happening or you ain't going to be able to sit in with the cats I work with because I don't always know what's happening. You see what? And that is the reality. All of y'all sitting here, including you, Shelton, know that's true.
Yeah.
Something just happened and you say, okay, they doing this now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
It's like 52nd Street. You know?
Right. But I wouldn't trade that for nothing. And it really makes you feel good when you talk to other gifted musicians and singers and they actually tell you, man, I can't do it with y'all out there doing how y'all just be like, this might happen this way and this could happen this way. And there are good musicians who have told me that they're not comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
So, you know, I know that everybody is not wanting to put themselves in that situation, but, you know, for some reason, 99% of the people I work with do. You know, it's just the universe, you know.
Top of their head, you know?
A lot of it is your approach, I think. I mean, that's, you know, like I said, it's like, I've worked with a lot of those same kind of musicians, and to me, it's you know, in certain contexts, it feels like I'm supposed to be playing these certain scales with these certain chords. But, you know, and you're, you know, play, you know, I don't know, it's more improvisational playing.
Now, what's the hardest part of playing in a group with Patrick Evan?
I keep having to wait for him to come down when it's time to go to the gig.
Yeah, that he started off riding around in limos.
Oh,
and now he's
still riding around in limos. No.
Yeah, now he's got a I guess a pretty piss poor limo boy now. You know.
Now, the hardest thing working with Patrick would be Patrick does not put up with people not being on time. It's disrespectful. And I'm a bit of a crazy person, so keeping a schedule was not necessarily my strongest suit back then. So I would, you know. And then, of course, also there's that influence of me being so influenced on how to sing by listening to Patrick. I would be coming in and trying to sing parts, but I'd be singing the exact same shit that Patrick's already singing. And he's like, don't double me, man. You got to find the fucking harmony. You can't just come up and sing the exact same. Everybody, yeah, exactly.
Like, find the harmony. Don't sing that. You know what I mean? You know, and then back to the part. And you always do that.
And you got to find it. But I mean, that's not hard. It's just fun. It's just another little challenge to find within yourself a chance to find a harmony you haven't tried before, and then sometimes it sounds great, and sometimes you need to back off that mic a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really honestly hard to think of things that are hard about playing with Patrick.
Because you relish challenges. It's all about doing.
And me.
And Patrick is just natural, you know. Like he'll put something you never even thought of putting over.
Like he's a nice guy. Like some people. Some people are assholes. Like in bands. Like I know some guys that run bands and people say, I love playing with them, but I just don't like being around them other than when we're playing, you know. But Pat's not that kind of guy, you know.
No,
and another thing is like,
thank you.
Well, I've not played with you, so I don't know.
Well,
I haven't tried to hang with you on the harmony.
What I like is that
a lot of times I play with guitar players and other musicians that are inspiring to me, but it feels like a competition sometimes. You know what I mean? And it doesn't feel like that with Patrick.
Yeah.
It's just inspiring. That's it.
And I'm so inspired. You know what I'm saying? It's like it is just like a mirror.
And it's not like I mean, maybe it doesn't feel like a competition because after you sing some R&B song, I'm just like, I'm not even going to try to do that. You know, I can't. So I'm not going to do it. You know. So I don't know. It just.
That's amazing. Because I'm serious. When I sing the song, like when I'm not doing gigs with you, and I sing songs that you do like Heaven's Door and stuff, I'm going like, how would Bert Biggie sing this? You know, it's like I'm like in your head. I'm serious. So maybe that's why I say it's really a mirror. Like I don't know how to put it one way. Like I know this is an interview on my behalf, but my behalf is a reflection of so much of the other half.
Well,
You dig what I'm saying?
I
It's
know
like
that-
it's making what I am. It's being inspired by what I'm with.
Yeah.
But also, I think you bring such a good energy to the whole mix. Like, and that, I think people feed off your spirit, and that's why projects work so well around you, is because you have this spirit that you bring to the table that kind of drags everybody around you into it. You know, people get deeper into their own good vibes of being able to just get out there and improvise and just, this is going to work. And you've got, you know, and you can sense it on those nights when, you know, you just are feeling it and things like that. You know, you really do have that charisma, I guess, that draws people into letting themselves be themselves.
Well, man.
And that's inspiration.
That's inspiration.
Inspiring.
That's what it is.
You know, when I heard Bootsy Collins, I've been loving this program called Unsung that I've been seeing. And Bootsy Collins, he was playing with James Brown, and he said James Brown was like, it's like this, like this, like this, like this. Like you here because I know you bad, but for real though, it's like this, like this, like this, and like this. And he did that gig. He said after that gig, he went and worked with George Clinton. And he said George Clinton was like, okay, now show me what you got, and then we're gonna build something around that. And that's how, if I don't have an idea already, that's how I work. I want to see, like, what do you have? We can just make up something around it. You know, it don't have to be the thing, you know.
Right.
I feel more like, even though James Brown and I found I have the same birthday, so I know there's some Taurus aspects of him wanting things
What's your
kind of
birthday?
a certain way, May 3rd. But I work with people like George Clinton, apparently, according to Bootsy, because that's what I'm like, what can you do? Even on your stuff, I'd be like, when we do Oscar Barnett, and I have done duo gigs, he'll play an original, but I'll say just keep playing that.
Yeah, and then
Like
he'll
sing the
sing
whole
something
song, and I
completely
think,
over
but
it.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That seems how George Clinton was working with Bootsy, and Bootsy liked that. He was like, wow, like you want to hear what I can do? Cause James, like, he telling you what to do. He said, you want to hear what we can do? Wow, that's different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but he loved working with both of them, by the way.
Right.
Because you need both those disciplines.
Yeah,
he had
I was
the
just thinking
best
in my-
of both
I was
worlds.
just
Now that I'm
thinking in my
thinking
head,
about it, you know.
I want both of those.
Yeah.
I want that total instruction sometime, and sometimes I want, you know, sometimes I want to, you know, have a little bit of, you know, freedom to, you know, or total freedom where somebody says, just do what you want to do, and
Right.
you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like, you know, I mean, nobody wants to be in a, you know, in a band kind of relationship where one guy, everything, one, you know, where somebody's a dictator.
Right.
You know, but then a complete democracy all the time would be,
Chaos.
yeah,
It would
it would turn into
With
anarchy in a
musicians?
band. And,
Are you kidding?
Just with our personalities, it would turn into.
Return to free jazz.
Right.
I was
We
listening to an
need to
interesting-
kind of bounce back and forth between anarchy
No, I agree.
and
I
total
agree.
dictatorship.
I was listening to an interesting interview kind of about that subject, and it was Neil Gallagher from Oasis.
Noel.
Okay.
Noel Gallagher, yeah. Noel Gallagher.
Which one is he? The
The
guitar?
older brother.
Now he was kind of the dictator, though, wasn't he?
He was somewhat, but he was talking about his newest project. He said it was so much easier to just write all the parts and do everything by himself without having to worry about this, this same kind of democracy thing that you would have in Oasis, because then you would have to, in every single song, okay, well, this guy's going to bring his part to it, and this guy's going to bring their part to it, and then, he said that it was just so much simpler because he was able to get just what he wanted. He didn't have to compromise with anybody else, and
Right.
and so he thought that was, very useful for the album, but he also admitted that he said, but I don't think that my solo projects could ever get the same kind of synergy and be as big as it was with Oasis,
Interesting.
Yeah,
because it's more
just
creative
running it.
energy.
Yeah, exactly. No, I received that.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
That is cool.
But
I like both too, because like singing with Mariah Carey, that was, you were definitely doing what people wanted. They weren't like, okay, let me hear what y'all got.
Yeah, let's see what you want to put
Yeah, they wanted to know that you had the voice or the timing of the musician to be able to do it, but it was not like open to you having some creative, like when you say this, why don't we do this right here? And it wasn't so much just because of her. You know, it was just because that's how it is. You know, when you are when you have a record label, you know, when you're funding an artist like that, they're not, you know, the work is done already. Like by the time the musicians get called to play live, the work is already done.
Yeah.
So they're not trying to get you to come and recreate the wheel.
Right.
You know, they're like, this is the part. See how easy that is? We're going to pay you good to travel you around to play this. Isn't that fun? You don't have to make up your own parts. In other words, they're sarcastically in some way saying that, like, this is easy. You don't even have to, I know you bad, but you know. But what I always say
Bert, could you grab me a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos?
Cool Ranch Doritos.
Yes.
How big?
Huh?
How big?
Just
Little or like normal size?
normal size.
Little size or full?
Like the $1 size?
Yeah.
Yes. I remember the day Cool Ranch Doritos hit the scene. It was like Charlie Parker, but with corn chips
why
instead
you
of
get
music.
Doritos for my birthday?
Cool
I'd be
Ranch.
like in junior high school, I tell my mom, I say, Mom, all I want is a big bag of Doritos that I don't have to share with my brothers. I just want it like for myself. And she would get me 2, and I'm serious. She might have well got me a car.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I gotta share these.
I ain't gotta give y'all none of this, and I didn't either.
Mhm.
It was too many people. Like I remember one of my biggest dreams was when I was growing up, I couldn't wait until I could afford to get a can of fruit cocktail. Because I loved fruit cocktail, but it was so many of us in the house, you always your mom putting a little bit in each bowl, you know. I was like, man, I can't wait till I can have my own fruit cocktail. And when I finally got that time, I really knew it. I didn't even pour it in a bowl. I just ripped the thing off. I was like, I'm eating my own fruit cocktail. I ain't got to share it. You know, it was awesome.
What is your favorite thing to eat? What's
Oh,
your favorite food? What's your favorite drink?
Pasta.
Pasta. What kind of pasta?
Red sauce with maybe some clams or something like that. I
You
love
like Italian
pasta.
food.
Yeah, and some kind of good cheese.
Yes.
Yeah, if it wasn't for pasta, I'd be dead.
I feel the same way.
I'm serious. That's how much pasta I eat, and I like pasta.
Pasta and grapefruits.
And what?
For me, like grapefruits are a big thing. But
Okay.
yeah, I love pasta.
I like grapefruit, but you know, it kind of
Yeah.
leaves like this little taste in my mouth. I don't like that, but we got a couple I give you. Somebody gave us some grapefruit, so I'll give you just a couple before you leave. But I can eat, you know. And here's the thing, Brother Hall. The more I live, I'm realizing that everything I enjoy eating is not something I need to be eating. So
Yes.
I'm really getting wiser, cause
Say that for a few girls, you know.
like Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yes.
I can eat that every day.
Mhm.
That's my favorite cereal that'll kill you, right? But you grow and you realize you need for things to pass through your body. So, you know, you get Raisin Bran and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Cocoa Krispies with chocolate milk.
I don't like chocolate that much. But I like it with peanut butter.
Mm-hmm.
See,
We've
me,
been
I
there
always
already.
I always had the even cheaper version, you know. I would get the Boo Berry or the Count Chocula.
Yes, yes.
Like,
See, I never liked
But when
that
it came to
stuff.
sugar cereal, you know, my parents they were always providing the generic brand of just about everything.
Yeah.
Right.
And but I'm, you know, to me, that's fine. I mean, I've never noticed a huge difference between General Mills and,
No.
and Kellogg's or whatever.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
It's processed grains.
Right.
Now, I will say
And
there's
sugar.
the flakes in post Raisin Bran versus the total Raisin Bran are very different. Like
They
the total
are
Raisin
very
Bran,
different.
like more
You're right.
substantial. I find in terms of pure taste, I like the Kellogg's Raisin Bran, the post
I
Raisin
like
Bran.
the post better.
The 2 scoops with the sun on it,
Absolutely.
you know.
Mhm.
I mean,
It's really a difference.
yeah.
Like my mom would bring home Kellogg's sometimes, and I'd be like, you know, I mean, with me not putting no money towards nothing, I'd be like, well, Mama, can you get the post next time? She'd be like, it's Raisin Bran. I said, but it tastes different. And my father, who I never
like
met,
cigarettes.
she said he was the same way. He passed 3 days after I was born, my dad, so I never met him right
Your
before-
dad died 3 days after you were
3
born?
days after I was
Oh, my
born.
God.
And my mom said that was amazing how much our personalities were still like, how she said, like, there's certain things you like it'd be the same thing, but you want this brand.
Right.
But I can really taste the difference. But like Brother Ho said, the difference between Kellogg's Raisin Bran and Post is a difference. You can taste it, you know. So he passed music on to me and a palate.
Mm-hmm.
But I love soul food too.
Yeah.
You know, I can eat.
Like what?
Yeah, I can eat all
So,
kinds of food that'll
Bring
kill
it.
you
Let's
all
talk-
day.
Tell me about it. You grew up. We grew up in the same
Absolutely.
same hoods. Like
Absolutely.
so
Grand Park for me and not far for you.
Grand Park, Myrtle Ave,
Absolutely.
Kings Road.
And we both came up in the same church.
St.
with the
Pius.
St. Pius.
St. Pius.
Absolutely.
The first.
We're two good Catholic boys.
That's right. Yeah.
And I mean, I still got my rosary beads on right now.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So, you know,
Yeah.
I like the
And you know, all ordained Catholics are eligible to be pope. You don't have to just be a priest. So, I mean, I'm just saying.
There's hope for us to be pope.
You could be Benedict
Right.
XVII.
But guess what? When
Yes.
I was in this band, Bob Element, the keyboard player, Roy Dunlap, called me one day. He
Roy
said,
Dunlap,
Patrick, I had
yes.
a dream about you last night. I said, what? He said, I dreamed you and I were in the Vatican moving furniture around. He said, and the Pope was helping us. He said he had a dream that me and him and the Pope were moving furniture around.
Wow.
You know, sometimes you try to ponder, I wonder what that could mean. I can't put my fingers around that in no way whatsoever.
It's always weird when you pop up in other people's dreams.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, Anthony Cole from Cal was in my dream 2 nights ago, and I mean,
Did he play Sam Rivers?
yeah, absolutely,
Oh.
the drummer.
Jesus.
I just dreamed about him 2 nights ago. He just was in my dream. You know, so you don't know how that stuff comes. You know, I
Yeah.
haven't seen him in years.
Well, I believe there are no accidents.
No,
So I
don't
think
either.
anything that happens is a reflection of something. You know, if you see something in a dream, it may not mean literally what it looks like, but it represents something.
Well, that energy is definitely out there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You know, I kind of go on the philosophy that thoughts have power, and
absolutely.
then words, that you're actually applying the power of sound to a thought, and that becomes even more powerful.
Yes.
And then if you sing something and you put a whole band behind it,
Yeah.
Oh my
then
God.
you're talking about putting a real vibe out into the universe. That becomes even more powerful. So it's
I love
really,
that. I
it's
receive that.
yeah,
Genesis 1, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was
scriptures say,
God.
right?
yeah.
That's what the scriptures
I
actually
gotta go by
said.
DJ Matt's real quick.
All right.
He said he's not gonna be there long.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Tell DJ Matt I said hello.
Oh, I
I'll
definitely
be
will.
right back.
Shout out to DJ Matt
Just for the
Smith.
record, I got him.
All
Hey,
tour-
Bert making his money. He done came for his money. He ain't
That's
straight.
right. Yay.
I just got a 6-pack since we're
Paying the cost to be the boss. Absolutely.
cheaper. We're both.
Shout out to DJ Matt Smith of the Hater Free crew.
To be the boss, got to pay the cost.
Hey,
Yeah.
we are not.
We're going to take a quick break now. We are coming up on just past 57 minutes in session number 2. We shall pause for
Oh, gotcha. I'm sorry. Nobody,
for really cheap digital commercials that we're basically doing for free for our advertisers, and they'll pay us on the back end if they make any money. We'll be back shortly.
All right, man. I'm sure.
Hooty hoo.